And it brings up something else I want to talk about with Rudy specifically, is why do you think people have such a hard time wrapping their head around how good he is at basketball?
I don't know. It's what was the word you used before?
Befuddling. 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 I can't even say it. You're such a dick.
It's that. It is so bizarre to me why people. I don't know if it's they don't respect him or they just don't like him or they don't think he's good at basketball, which is obviously all three of them are like, I don't know what you're watching if you don't think he's talented. Like from his first year to now, or even a few years ago, but his first couple of years, I was like, he's big and he's like long. Would he be what he is now? I wouldn't say I didn't think he would be, but I thought it would probably take longer than what it did. It was almost like in a year or two, he kind of figured it all out. And, he's a really good guy off the court. Like there's no issues, there's no drama with him. Obviously, everyone at times has their own little bits and pieces, but I don't know how you can't respect what he does on the court. I randomly see numbers tweeted about him or his defensive impact, and it's like out of this world. Like there's no one in the NBA that's doing that. And people still are like, nah, he sucks. Or like teams, especially in the playoffs, teams' whole scheme offensively is to get him out of the paint. Like if your whole offensive scheme is to get him away from the basketball, from the hoop, so he can't make an impact on what he's amazing at, like you've got to respect that. Like that's the whole point. Like it's so bizarre to me why. And then, like I said before, like the COVID thing happens and he's public enemy number one out of nowhere. And like I said, he's a good dude. I love playing against him in the national team because we can get into it a little bit, but like his numbers speak for himself. What he's achieved speaks for himself. It's like, I'll never understand why people don't respect him or even just like having him on a team. Like it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
The thing I like about Donovan and Rudy is that they're basketball wise, they complement each other.
100%.
You've got a high volume ball handling guard and one of the greatest rim protecting bigs in NBA history. And the interesting thing, this goes back to my original question about Rudy. Quinn had this quote 3 or 4 weeks ago about how important Rudy is and how they've built the entire system around him and how he's the Jazz best player. And I think for a lot of people, when we talk about elite players, we want to see what Donovan does. And I'm not going to say Donovan's not better than Rudy or Rudy is better than Donovan. But if you look at value, if you look at any sort of advanced metric, Rudy is more valuable than Donovan. But it's not sexy. It's not sexy what he does. And Draymond talked about this the other day about just defensive. Draymond's quote was great. I can't remember the exact thing, but the sentiment was, we don't reward defense. We don't talk about defense. We don't acknowledge defense enough. But great defense is just as important, if not more important than great offense. And so I think that's where there's a disconnect between sort of how people view Donovan versus how they view Rudy.
Well, and as you know, you guys both know, like everything in the NBA is revolved around what you do offensively. You're not in the headlines if you don't score 20. You're not in the MVP race if you're not averaging 25 a game. Like the points per game or how many points you score on a given night is going to be noted on a headline or a tweet or by the team or whatever it is every day of the week over Rudy having, like last night or whatever night we played, he guards Jared Allen, who's almost like a protege of Rudy, like a younger version of Rudy. Young defender, finisher around the rim. Rudy has 6 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Like, is it talked about? Now, he had one big dunk at the end that gets posted a little bit because it's offensively very nice. But he was dominating that game. The rebounds he got, the blocks he got, I think 3 of them were on Jared Allen, trying to either lay it up or dunk it on him. It's like, this dude, we aren't who we are without, obviously, Rudy. Like, I'm not the defender I can be without Rudy because I know I can pressure someone. I know I can, hey, you want to go out? Like, I had to guard Brett start on Brandon Ingram the second night of the back-to-back that Royce was injured. That's usually Royce's job to go and guard the best player. And you're like, all right, like he's an all-star. He's just got his max deal. And I'm like, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna pressure. I'm gonna do what I have to do. And if he gets by me, I've got Rudy or Hassan as well. Both those guys standing behind me. They're going to protect the rim, like you said, at a very, very elite level. But like it's not sexy. It's not. His 6 points doesn't look cool in the box score, but Donovan's 35 does, or whoever's points does. So it is what it is. Like you said, I think they complement each other unbelievably. Like you've got a guy who protects the rim, does all that for us. He's also an elite screener. Whose screening gets undervalued, I think, too, in the NBA. Like you're not getting illegal shots without DJ.
Illegal screener.
Every big is an illegal screener. DJ would like line you up, move his legs, and go. Yeah, like
no, this is Rudy though. Rudy puts those wiry arms out like this. He's not in his personal space. He's outside his personal space. Yeah.
Unless you're the most elite one-on-one player in the NBA, the way like we score and other guys score, like we're not getting the looks we get without screen assists. And Rudy sacrifices. I know. Sounds like weird. He sacrifices himself a lot offensively to get us shots, and then we obviously try and pay it back with getting him a lob every now and then. But there's nights like the Cleveland game we just played. Their whole game plan was for Rudy not to score. Like I walked down the lane and shot a left-hand layup twice in a row because they just did not want to leave his body. Like as I'm laying it up, there's three guys like hitting him and trying to box him out / not let him get a lob. And I get to just lay the ball up, which is pretty cool.
I think they should start when there's I don't know what it's called, the thing that the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Maybe like Jazz 111, Cleveland 105, Donovan Mitchell 32 points, Gobert played really good defense.
Elite defensive game.
Elite defensive game. I wish there was a stat for just having an impact on the game, like an all-encompassing stat. There is. It's called defensive RPM, but nobody understands how it's calculated.
Anyone in your team came to the locker room after a game and had 20 rebounds, 5 blocks, you would be like, you were elite tonight.
Dominated.
We had a game a few weeks ago. Mike Conley shot 4 shots, but had like 6 rebounds, but 11 assists or whatever. And the team was hedging, and it was Portland. Portland and Nurkic is out there trying to hedge on us all. And so the guy who's got the ball, like, is not getting really any, like, you're almost like hockey assist, or you're just getting off it to then play 3-on-4 on the backside. And Mike Conley, like, absolutely dominated the game the way he set everybody else up. But he has like 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists or whatever. 33 minutes, he's plus 33 or something on the court. It's like he dominated that game, but it doesn't look good because his stats weren't what people look at as stats.
Real ones know.
Real ones know.
The real
ones know. That's why we can stay in the league, because the real ones